Hello, I'm Juan Davies, Chief Creative Officer at KCT and PBS SoCal, and I'm joined by the newsroom of KPCC and LAist on a daily reporter roundup. How is everyone today?
Good, thanks.
Good.
Hi.
Jackie, Governor Newsom laid out first steps for reopening the state. What did he say?
Yeah, he presented a roadmap today for lifting the stay-at-home orders, and he outlined 6 areas that they'll consider before they ease that order. They included testing, protecting vulnerable populations, and shoring up hospital preparedness, including getting more personal protective gear. But Newsom made very clear that California will not reopen until hospitalizations and ICU rates consistently decline. We did kind of get an idea of what it'll look like afterward. He said moving forward, distancing measures will be integrated into everyday life, from restaurants to schools. But he did say that there's no precise timeline for modifying the stay-at-home order. Right now, increasing the number of people getting tested for COVID-19 is really the state's top priority.
We did hear today that a number of crew members aboard the USNS Mercy tested positive. Emily's been following that for us.
Yeah, so 7 crew members have tested positive. They've all been moved and isolated off ship, and folks who had close contact with them have also been quarantined off ship. But obviously, that's a statistic nobody wants to see. We actually talked to a former mariner on our show Take Two last week who said that, ships just are not very good at dealing with a virus. And we've seen that in the Theodore Roosevelt ship off Guam. We've seen that with cruise ships. So it is definitely frightening. I was able to check in with one of the senior vice presidents at Kaiser Permanente. They've actually transferred a couple of patients over to the ship, and they still have confidence that the ship is a safe place for patients, but we'll just have to see if those number of confirmed cases go up.
In county business today, the County Board of Supervisors made a couple of steps to help renters. Aaron was following that one.
Yeah, there was a lot of action today on tenant issues. The supervisors passed a rent assistance fund. That's for tenants struggling to make rent. It'll help renters around the county, and it'll draw on federal stimulus dollars. They also did a lot more. So the supervisors approved new tenant protections for renters in mobile home parks, expanded eviction protections to cities that don't have their own eviction moratorium, and they froze rent in areas covered by the county's rent stabilization laws. As we talk about these tenant issues, it's worth remembering that most households in Los Angeles County are renters.
Finally today, Libby's been looking at one of the next big pain points in this pandemic, and that's the hit local government budgets are going to take.
That's right. There is this massive crisis brewing in nearly every city and county across the country right now. And that's because economic activity makes up a large chunk of funding for local governments. In LA, that means sales taxes, hotel fees, fines, and tickets. And now social distancing has really blasted a hole in those sources of revenue. We don't know yet how bad this will be. City Comptroller Ron Galpern's office said he will release revised revenue estimates this week. And the mayor and city council need to basically agree on a budget by June. And this is a problem for smaller governments too. Leaders of mid-sized cities across the country, including in Southern California, said they're being overlooked in the federal stimulus bailouts so far. And today they got together and said, Congress needs to help right now. We need to be able to apply directly to the Treasury Department for federal aid, just like the large cities can, because we're on the front lines and we know what our local people need.
Thank you, Libby. I cannot leave this roundup without asking you, Aaron, what happened?
Well, I think I got cabin fever, and in an attempt to cure it, I shaved my beard off.
But why? Just the cabin fever, or was there another reason that led you to that drastic decision?
There were no big life changes. I think boredom had a lot to do with it, and stir craziness.
And your mask?
It is easier to wear a mask or a bandana now.
Well, maybe, who knows, in a couple of weeks, who knows what will happen. Shave
Not
it off.
me.
Anyway, thank you all from the KPCC and LAist newsroom, and thank you all for tuning in. Be safe, take care of your family, and we'll see you tomorrow.